Hi guys, welcome to another interesting episode of Gist with Essay. Today we're going to be talking about child bullying and abuse. You guys will all agree with me that, that's something that's very common to every household. Okay, so whether a child is being bullied at home or in school, by siblings or peers, child bullying is something that we need to take seriously because it has different effects on different people. Okay, it's all over the internet. There's cyberbullying, there's physical bullying that can lead to physical abuse and all of that, and it does a lot of damage to the child. Okay, there was a case on the internet a couple of months back where a child who was bullied in school took his own life, and he took his own life after people came in. His mother did a video talking to him about what he was experiencing, and it went viral. And then people came on to support them, support the kids, support the mom, with money, gifts, just they did different things for the boy. But sadly, he still took his life because the effect of bullying had already sunk in, and he didn't know where to go from there. So today we're having CHIOMAH to come talk to us about child bullying and abuse and the best ways we can deal with it as parents. CHIOMAH is a lawyer, author, parenting and working mom advocate. She's very passionate about helping parents raise wholesome children and achieve work-life harmony at the same time. So, you're not ignoring your kids because you're too busy, working. So I'm going to bring CHIOMAH on now. Hi, CHIOMAH.
Hi, Esther. Good to be here.
Yeah, welcome to Gist with Essay. Thank you for the honor.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so before we get started on child bullying and abuse, can you tell us a bit about yourself?
Okay, like you said, I'm a working mom. I have 4 children. What got me interested in being a parenting advocate is that I see a lot of women, especially women, who they struggle to do things at the workplace, and then they neglect the children, or then they are so into their children that they forget that they can have a life and have a career outside their children. So I'm just thinking, you know what? There must be a way where we can make all things work for good. We can be effective, live our dreams, do what you're doing here, just sit with us, and still be great mothers who are fulfilled, who are raising excellent, wholesome children. And I'm also a children's book author. I write books. I've also started writing things for adults as well. I have a parenting book I'm working on now. I've written something else for women. And I'm just all about us finding fulfillment as individuals, making sure that we're, every area of our life, we are doing what we are supposed to do. Nothing is lacking, Yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Okay, great. So what is bullying, and what are the signs that parents should look out for in their children to know if they're getting bullied?
Bullying. Okay, so when you talk about bullying, it's a form of emotional and sometimes physical abuse, and it's very common amongst children. And there are some things that you need to look out for to know that it is actually bullying. One, the person bullying the other person is doing it intentionally. It's not an accident. It's not by mistake. You actually want to cause that person emotional pain. You want the person to feel unhappy. You're trying to make fun of them. You're trying to hit them because you want them to feel pain. And it has to be something continuous. It's not a one-off thing. It's not a one-off, oh, somebody beat me one day. No, it's the continuous thing, continuous taunting, continuous hitting, continuous whatever the act of bullying is. And the third thing that is a power tussle. So there's one person who feels, you know what, I'm bigger than the other child, I can intimidate him. Or I'm in a better position. Maybe I'm the school, I'm the school hunk, I'm the hottest boy in school, everybody loves me. So I can make you feel less than you are. I can make you feel inferior. I can make fun of you. Or whatever it is. So there's always that tussle. Or maybe here in Nigeria, it's very common where it's a senior who is bullying a junior because I'm a senior student. I have a right to bully you. I have more power than you. Therefore, I can intimidate you and make you feel small. So that's what bullying is in a nutshell. And then how can you notice if your children are being bullied? Before I say that, I speak on that, sometimes you'll be wondering, why do I even have to notice? Why won't my child tell me if he or she's been bullied? And one thing we need to realize is that as children get older, sometimes they get more closed up, They're getting more independent. They want to feel that I can do it myself. A 2-3-year-old will run to you every second. Somebody beat me. Somebody did this. Somebody said I'm stupid. But as they get older, you see that those kind of reporting they reduce. The child feels I'm a big boy. Is there everything I'll come and tell? Am I a baby? Because even when you always report, they'll say, as in what's wrong with you, as in like you're a small child. So as they get older, they keep things, they internalize a bit more, and they keep it to themselves. Also, the other reason that they don't tell is that they feel that, after all, this thing has happened to me in school, it happens to me at home. Maybe the parents too is also bullying them. So they're like, what's the difference? Bullied at home, bullied in school. Let me just continue. I'll just bear it. And that reason why they don't tell is because they just feel it's part of life. Children go into school, they get bullied. Everybody, it happens to everybody. It'll get over. I'll get over it. And that reason they don't tell that they are afraid that they won't get the right reaction or response from you. If someone has told you something and they don't feel that you're going to do anything about it, what's the point of telling you? They're like, okay, let me just keep it in. So, a lot of teenagers, especially, older children, teenagers, they don't tell when they're being bullied. So you need to look out for some signs. And some common signs, like when the child, you need to be very observant, which is important for us that are working parents. When you're at home, you can't just enter your room and forget about your children. You need to watch out for subtle changes in their behavior. One thing, if a child becomes more withdrawn, now that's a bit difficult with teens do tend to have mood swings, but you need to watch. If this child is getting more withdrawn than normal, watch out for that. If the child is always hiding stuff, always, once they see you, they try and hide stuff, always keeping things away from you. If the child starts to pick up, behavior that is strange, maybe a child who's always been very honest, is always telling lies, or picking money from you, something that is very strange, or coming home hungry. You gave your child food, and then the child comes home hungry. What's going on here? Maybe the child is being bullied. Maybe someone is stealing his food in school, or taking, then they'll say, a child is obtaining someone's food. Maybe someone has obtained his food and he has no food to eat. You just need to look out for different things, changes in behavior. For a child who's already introverted, and the child gets even more introverted, you're like, what's going on? So start to ask questions. Don't ask in a way that you put off the child or scare the child, but just try and find out what's going on. Yeah. So it's really observation. You have to have a very keen eye to see any changes in your child that may point to the fact that the child is being bullied.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
Let's talk about siblings or friends or even parents teasing. Okay, I'm a worry girl. We grew up like that with teasing. They tease you till you get over it, till you get used to it, till it becomes, you become immune. Let me use, if I can use that word, to what. So it's not just teasing, it's like it's yabbies. So they're yabbing you. We call it yabs, but they're really insults. So they just throw, jabs at you as you're growing up. And then, you start by crying or reacting. I don't like you, stop doing this. And then after a while, you just get used to them. I mean, you do it all the time, yeah? But sometimes, even that can be hurtful or harmful to the child, because not everyone knows how to express themselves. So if you're saying something to me and it's hurting me, I'm not finding it, funny. It's beginning to hurt me now emotionally. You're not being physical with me, but you're emotionally hurting me. Can we also call that bullying?
Yes.
Especially if
it might be. It depends. Things at times we say, our children are too sensitive, but we have a right. Everybody has the way they are, and these things do have a lot of the impact they have on individual is, you'll be shocked. I remember, we had this person that lived with us, growing up, and he used to call me Nose. His nickname for me was Nose. I see your nose big, that kind of thing. And he was joking. But I did begin to feel a bit weird about. I was like, oh, maybe my nose is too big. I started, thinking. But what helped me balance it was because my mom was a big praiser. So she would tell me, oh, you're so beautiful, you're pretty, you're this, you look good. So there was a balance. Now, if everybody had been teasing me, those are the things that give children a complex. And the truth is that if you're dealing with being bullied, one of the major things you need to make to help your child not be bullied or to deal with bullies is building their self-esteem. They have to be very confident children. A very confident child will not be easily be the prey of a bully, because the child can stand up for herself and say, no, my nose is big, so what boys, a fine nose, you know, and they will give
Exactly.
you something back. So it's because so even the all the abuse that you grew up with, there was something that was being done to counter it. So even as they're yabbing you, see as your leg there or something, I'm sure there was maybe your father is praising you or something. Because if not, it ends up harming that child. Their self-esteem will end up being fragile and it will end up being harmed. So in the end, it's better to just, what. For instance, my friend, she'll tell me, that then she had really protruding as in her teeth were really, and then they would tease her in school, and she'll go home and say, but your teeth are protruding, true. What the hell? What's the
Exactly.
problem? If they tell you this, you to tell, so he was the dad that used to affirm her. He told her, yeah, yes. They'll say, oh, look at you, you're too yellow. Like I said, yes, you're too yellow, but you will still admire this your skin. You don't mind them. No, so he used to affirm her a lot. Something about she was able to just roll with the punches, and all the teasing
Mm-hmm.
meant nothing to her. So we have to know how to counter these things by making sure you're raising that child with a good dose of self-esteem. If you're making fun of your child, you need to look at the child. How is the child dealing with it? In fact, if you can avoid it, it's even better, because you
Okay.
might be doing harm. Because especially if you're the parents, if it's an auntie or a cousin or whatever, but you're the parents, your child believes a lot about the things you say. If you tell your child you're stupid, they will believe they're stupid. If you want to yab your child, you're ugly. That's not a yab. You can't say your child is ugly. There's not, as in, it's so
Yeah.
unacceptable, because that child might actually begin to think, maybe I'm ugly. Oh. They're always saying I'm ugly in the house. Maybe true. Maybe true, I will like, you start thinking about it, and then someone says it to you, say, it's true, Sha. They call me ugly at home. So,
Oh wow.
even us as parents, all these things that we say, by just teasing or yabbing, let's be careful. Even like as even siblings, there has to be a balance to it. Yes, we don't want to have, children who are overly sensitive, but at the same time, you need to make sure you're actually building that child's self-esteem. If not,
Mm-hmm.
anything that you see as that harmless teasing can do a lot of damage to the child. So yeah, so you need to make sure you're saying the right things to them, affirming them, because really a lot is on the parents. When you see a child who is a bully or who is being bullied, a lot of questions are like, what is going on in the home? But it doesn't mean the parents are bad, no, far from it.
Mm-hmm.
But the parents have a lot of work to do in terms of helping that child build their self-esteem. So if anyone tells them things and says, oh, you're this, you're that, they can say no. For instance, something I do, my house, I tell my children, I try and role play with them. I do it, for sexual abuse as well. I'll say, if anyone should touch you here, what do
Mm-hmm.
you do? So I say, if anyone said you're this, or anyone tries to bully you, what do you do? If they give me the wrong response, I say, no, you don't do that. No, you tell them, no, that's unacceptable. You cannot talk to me like that. And you tell them off. And you tell your mom. So you give them the appropriate responses. You build their self-esteem. You tell them, look, you're wonderfully and fearfully made. No one can yab you. No one can make you feel inferior. So we have a lot to do in terms of telling them the right things, because they will believe us. If we're telling them the right things, nobody can go outside and tell them anything silly, because they will be able to counter it more successfully. And then also children are different. Some people have a thicker skin than others.
That's true.
I'm sure in every home you see the child say anything, no, she's okay. But some children, any small thing, so you have to even know your children. Some may be needing of extra affirmation or extra work to build their self-confidence, so that they do not fall prey to these children who are just being children. A lot of them don't even know they're being unkind. They're just being silly. They don't know
Yeah,
the
true.
impact of what they're doing. And some of them actually have been abused themselves, which is why they end up, going in turn to abuse someone else, with their words
Okay.
and all of that. Yeah, so if you look at a child who has been a bully, and you dig deep, you find that there's something going on. Either the child is being bullied, or has been bullied, or has some serious issues, and they just feel, well, I'm going to use my own power or my place of authority and make somebody else's life miserable, because my own life is miserable as well.
Abuse of power.
Mm.
Or maybe they just learned it from their parents. Their parents are people who are powerful, and they see how
Yeah,
they treat other people. So, they
yeah.
just, yeah. But you're right. I strongly believe that as much as you're teaching your children not to be nasty, not to be mean, not to be bullies, you also have to teach them how to respond to bullies, or to respond when they're being bullied. I remember that when I was a kid, yeah, I used to be very quiet. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I used to be very quiet, and I was easily intimidated. That's the truth. In fact, I had a niece who would always tease me, and she's
Mm.
not really teasing me like you're not pretty. She just tells me I'm prettier than you. Just look at you.
Mm.
They buy us the same outfit, and she'll come and say, "Oh, I'm going to look better in it. I'm gonna." Do you get
Mm.
what I mean? So every
Mm-hmm.
time they buy an outfit, I'm not really interested. because in my head she's going to look better anyway. So
yes,
why? What am I
the point?
shining on? You get, but one day an uncle bought us this outfit we've been dreaming about for a long time. He didn't know about it, but it was something we saw on a friend, and we're like, oh, I love this dress. I want to have this dress. And then it came to us as a Christmas present. So my older brother was like, okay, you guys go try it on. We went upstairs, tried it on. I was upstairs. I refused to come downstairs because immediately she put hers on. She had gone downstairs and she was catwalking, and So my brother, who thank God for him, he noticed, and then he said, "Essay, come downstairs and show us what you look like in the dress. I'm sure you're going to look." And then I just went very, reluctantly and everything. And the minute he saw me, he went, "Wow, I can't believe it. You're just 8 years old. How can you look so beautiful in a dress? Look at your figure." They used to call it figure 8. Yeah? Like, how can an 8-year-old have figure 8? Can you see you have a beautiful shape?
So good.
You look so good. I need to start protecting you from, the men and everything. I can't explain how I felt. But at that instant, there went all of my insecurities. And so every time you say I'm prettier than you, I would say, yeah, you may be facially prettier, but I have a better figure than you. And so that was what just built up. Yeah. And then growing up in primary school, I was the bigger child. I was always the bigger one, yeah. And I used to pick on bullies. So when you're bullying my friend, mostly guys bullying the girls, I would pick on you and bully you in return. Because you can't be bullying my friend. I'm the head girl, or I'm the class captain, or so I had a bit of power. And if I take you to the principal, you're in trouble. Yeah, so I used that as well. But when I started secondary school, I wasn't so tall, I wasn't so big anymore. Suddenly there were bigger people than me. So I realized that, okay, you know what, you need to try to just accept the way you are, and not let other people, and then not also use your power or your own influence or your size or whatever to intimidate other people. So I agree with you completely that the parents have a large role to play when it comes to affirming a child and building a child's self-confidence and all of that. So yeah, at what age do you think
tremendous role
educate your child about bullying and abuse?
As early as possible. As early as possible. Because from the age of 4, 5 already they're meeting children. I remember when I was in nursery school. Now nursery school is 3, 4. They used to give me ribbons every day. Trust me, I used to come home with my ribbon. But there was this girl who would take my ribbons from me every day. Every day, as it was ridiculous. So I was being bullied. Because she would just come and say, "Chioma, I want my ribbons," and she would take my ribbons off, and that was it.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, did she have any ribbons?
I don't know what her problem was. She just liked my own and would just take it. This was nursery school. Do you understand? Yeah. So we're really little children. And my mom would just say, "Oh, this girl is so, you're so rough. You're always losing your ribbons." It wasn't me losing them. It was someone taking them, And I would just allow her to take them because I was, I don't want to get into trouble. And that happened to me a lot, But, with time, I started to get, into my own and get a bit more confident, as I grew older. But I was little, I was 3, 4. So as early as that stage, you need to start to tell your children, people shouldn't take your things. Don't let them. No one should come and eat your, don't allow them. Talk to them. If someone, my son is 6. But last year, something happened. He went somewhere and someone told him to shut up. And he was like, he came to me and said, "Someone told me to shut up." Immediately, what you do is you go, "Why did you tell him to shut up? What happened?"
Yeah.
You shouldn't do that. You're a nice little boy. You shouldn't tell someone else to shut up. That's rude, And you tell him, don't go and start beating the child, because that's the Nigerian parents. We can, and there are ways to deal with this thing. There was something that happened that was very remarkable to my, my niece. I'll call her my niece, which is a family friend actually, but we call ourselves cousins. The Nigerian way of calling it,
Yeah.
As in your cousins and all that. So she was in the same school with my older son. And she was, I think she was in, in JS1, what we call JS1 or year 7. And she was being bullied by year 8 girls who felt, also we are big girls, we've been here for 1 year, And they were bullying her. I just said that, you know what? No, so that's my son. He was in a much senior class. Let him have a word with those children. She didn't go to confront them. She didn't want to make, because if I go and confront them, because that's another reason why children don't tell. They're afraid that you will respond a particular way and it will end up being worse. The whole school will hear, they might be bullied on more, blah, blah, blah. It might, spiral out of control. So she just said, she just called me and said, talk to your son, see what's happening to his cousin, in year 7. And he just went there nicely, saw the girls in year 8, spoke to them. He didn't, it wasn't a fighting matter. It was, I'm her cousin, what's going on? And by the time he spoke, they were just like senior boys, as in they couldn't even, that was the end of it. They never disturbed her again. He did not intimidate them, he did not beat them, he did not punish them. He just told them, look, this thing you're doing is wrong. You shouldn't, he just spoke to them, very, very politely. I don't even know what he even told them, but he said that, no, that he didn't even have to go harass, he didn't even have to do anything, like say, oh, okay, but they just, he just, told them this is wrong, and that was it. So at times, the way we handle it goes a long way in, in helping resolve the issue. But like I said, like you asked, as early as possible, because children from even the earliest stage are bullying. And like you said, it could be from what they know at home. Maybe they have an older sibling bullying them. Maybe it's their parents. Parents are guilty of bullying their children because we're stronger. Especially we're stronger and we have more power. When they want pain, it's our house. Do this or get out of my house. You don't, so we shouldn't, even when we discipline our children, we shouldn't do it from a place of, oh, we're the more powerful figure. Of course we're more powerful. Of course we're the parents. Of course we're the ones that are guiding them. But the way we discipline them, we should make sure we're not bullying our children in the name or bullying our spouse in the name of discipline. It's wrong. Because children pick up these things. Yeah,
your
what they watch at home.
Pick up from you bullying your spouse. They see it.
Yes.
Yeah, I have a 2.5-year-old, and after she clocked 1. Yeah, that's the age where they start to pick up, like whatever you do, they do. Whatever you do, they do. So, and my husband and I, we play a lot. Yeah. So we had to tell ourselves that, look, this girl would understand that we're just kidding. We're just, playing.
Yeah, she's watching.
But we need to, now know how we play, how we yab each other, what we say to each other.
Exactly.
And she's a talker. So she will come and tell you, Mommy, Daddy did this. Or Daddy's sitting on my chair. So I know you have to be careful. Parents be conscious. You can't say, oh, it's my house,
Yeah.
If you don't like it.
Putting domestic staff. The way you deal with, the way you talk to the staff, the way you talk to your driver, they're watching you and they're like, okay, this is how to engage with human beings. Oh yeah, I'll do the same thing. And you said something, you were a bigger person, so you felt I will use my size to intimidate. And that's what police do. They'll say, okay, look at this child, she's different. Maybe she wears, very thick glasses. Okay, she's different. I am big. I am this. I can intimidate her. And they have that feeling of, oh, yes, I have some power, something. Maybe at home, they're the ones that they are being bullied. So now, but I'm not in school, I'm not a champion, but I can bully this little girl. I can make her feel small. And they derive some pleasure from which is, actually quite sick. But it's something that it's power play. And you need to be careful to make sure that your child is not a victim or not even the one that's perpetuating that kind of what's it called? That kind of act to anybody. And then the other thing that people always, don't talk about is the bystander. They are bullying a child. What should your child be doing? Should they allow the child to be bullied? Okay. Should they just turn their head? And it happens all the time. You see people, somebody's being bullied. It happens a lot in London. You see people are walking by. Somebody is being harassed, and they just walk on by. If you're too scared to go and confront them, maybe because they have weapons, call the police, call someone of authority, notify somebody. Don't allow people to be bullied under your watch. If it's in school and something is happening, you can actually walk up to them and say, please stop, stop doing that. Or talk to a teacher. There's nothing like that. You cannot be an innocent bystander and just do nothing. That means you're not innocent. That means you're part of what's going on.
Part of what's
going on. Because you're allowing it happen under your watch.
That's what I used to do. I used to bully the bullies because for me, my power was, I was big. Yeah, I used to bully a lot of boys. Even up to secondary school, boys were scared of me. And even then, I was small, and I'll be looking up at boys and say, "Don't talk to my friend like that." And they'll be like, "This short girl,
I said, who are you?"
Well, I had built it up from primary school. In primary school, I earned the nickname Vulture and Defender of the Universe because if you try and bully my friend, I'm coming for you with everything.
I'm there for you. Yeah.
You know, and I
yeah,
had the authority to even punish as the head girl.
Because you were a prefect.
Yeah, because I was a prefect. Yeah, so they would just know. So a lot of girls even wanted to be my friend because this boy that is. But this brings me to the fact that, like the case of the girl that was taking your ribbons, yeah, there are some people who don't know how to say I like you, let's be friends, and so they just resort to bullying. They just feel if I intimidate this person, yeah. Because when you were saying that, that was what was ringing in my head. I know of cases like that where I confronted people on my friend's behalf, and they will actually say, "Oh, you know what? I actually like her, but she's always snubbing me." And then I'm like, "Oh, she's not a snob. She doesn't really know you. So why don't you, do this and do that, and you guys can be friends?"
It's so ridiculous. It happens a lot, when somebody who likes you, who's actually in love with you, just starts out by just being nasty to you, and it's warped because the person is not used to, doesn't know how to relate with human beings normally. Like I said, it all starts from the home. Because if you teach your child social skills in the home, they'll know that if they like somebody, they shouldn't be mean to the person. They should be like, "Oh, hello, my name is CHIOMAH. What's yours?" And they should say hello and play nicely, not bully the person. But because they've not been taught how to play nicely, how to have social skills, how to interact with other human beings outside the home, which is why even before your child starts going to school, you take them to all those meet and greets, what are those things called, where you go and play with other children and watch how they interact, or in the park, how they interact with other children. So if you see them and somebody is pushing them and they push the person, or maybe you just watch how they're interacting. Maybe they want to go on the swing and it's not their turn and they go and push somebody. And you're like, no, that's not how to do it. You need to wait your turn. You need to be nice. You need to learn how to, learn how to interact properly. So you as the parent have to teach them those social skills so that they know that, because the main parent that has the plenty work is the parent of the bully. But you need to teach your child that, look, if you want to make friends with somebody, it's not by harassing the person. That is upset. You're doing it the wrong way. If you like someone, you're nice to them, aren't you? So that is what they see, is what they know. They don't know better. So they start out being so aggressive, and in the end, well, I shall like that. I didn't know how to get your attention. Be nice, and you can get my attention. So
yeah,
it's just crazy. Guys, it's just we have a lot to teach.
To teach the kids. If you guys got questions for CHIOMAH, please send in your questions through the chat, and then we can ask her the questions. Yeah, so quickly, what are the effects of bullying and abuse on a child's development, mentally, emotionally, and socially? You talked about social skills.
A lot. When a child is being bullied, already the child might already not have the very healthy dose of self-esteem. It goes downhill. It gets even worse. They start to believe, oh, nobody likes me, nobody wants to be around me. And before I even talk about the effects on the child, it's important to say the types of bullying, because bullying is they have different types of bullying. You have the bullying that has to do with the physical, where somebody is going to actually come in and pushing and shoving your child and hitting him and just coming and stepping on her toes every day during break and all that, at the playground. You have the kind of bullying which is just verbal, where you're saying things that are not so nice to the child, say, look at you idiot, look at you, 4 eyes, whatever, and saying that every day. I look at her with her teeth, maybe it's whatever it is. And they're saying things that are not too nice to you over and over again. And that's verbal. And then they have the relational kind of bullying. And that one is when you see a child, you don't like that child, and you think nobody else should like you. I don't like you. Why should anybody like you? You tell the whole school, nobody should sit down with her. I don't want to talk to her. If you see her coming, turn the other way, the girl is, she's silly, and then the one that is very popular now is cyberbullying, and it's really, really awful, because you see texting, and the one that is really, and it goes into the university. There was a case I heard of this girl, they were having a sexual relationship, and silly human beings that we are. The girl went and put nudes. I think she took nudes with him, and he put all of them on the internet, invited all her friends, and it was horrible. it was horrible. You know, she almost committed suicide. She was traumatized and all of that. So there's all sorts of bullying, and it's not just for young children, even workplace bullying where you're getting bullied by your coworker or by your boss. But we're talking about children here anyway. But there are different forms of bullying, and sometimes it encompasses all these things. Like saying the child is abusing your child, hitting his head, doing everything every day. But the one thing you want to do is to make sure that you know what's going on, that your child can open up to you and tell you what the situation is. And that if your child is not being bullied or is not the bully, they know how to be either a defender or a protector or to show empathy. So that's one skill. If your child is raised to show empathy, they will not bully anybody. And if your child knows what empathy is, if they see someone being bullied, they will report or take action. Yeah. So you have to teach your children these kind of skills. And now going back to I've forgotten your question. What were you asking me?
No, it was the effect of bullying on kids.
The effect. So emotionally, like I said, their self-esteem, which might already be having issues, will go downhill. They start to get more introverted and start getting moody. They too to bully other children because they think, okay, if this was done to me and nothing was done, then it's okay to bully. And it will have lifelong effects. There are people who have traced things into, trace their depression or their issues in adulthood to being bullied as children. Things that happened years and years ago. And they, by the time they talk about it, they're like, something happened when I was 10, 11, 12, or when I was 8, 9, 10, and this was the effect of it. And it's affecting them as adults of 40, 45, 50 years old. Someone called me names as a child. People I met who were teased, some guy I know, he was teased throughout school. It's a guy who's, very mature guy. And there are many people like that. Very mature, but that teasing, which they thought, not just your business, it's nothing. They will laugh about it, but inside, they were thinking maybe there is something wrong with me. Maybe my mouth is really like bicycle seat or something. Or all these stupid things that we say that don't even make any sense. How can someone's head be like a bicycle seat? As in seriously, And those are thinking
that was a very common,
any girl that they toast. Yeah. Any girl that they toast that doesn't answer them, they'll say, maybe true, my head, as in is like bicycle seat. So no girl will like me, no girl loves me. I mean, they just start their mind just goes far. And they start to settle in life. Any girl that they see, okay, let me just manage this girl because nobody else will love me. So this is how far-reaching psychological and mental effect on individuals. So that's the major effect. Not only can someone get harmed if it's physical, it's the psychological effects that are really, really far-reaching.
Okay, let's take a question from Tracy. She says, do you encourage kids who are being bullied physically to defend themselves by fighting back?
Do you encourage kids who have been
Okay, I guess I'm going to take the question again. Hello, can you hear me, CHIOMAH?
Hello. I hope you can see me. Esther, I can't see you.
Okay, so can you hear me now?
Okay. I hear you now, so yes. So
Tracy says,
that question.
Do you encourage kids who have been bullied to defend themselves by fighting back? Okay.
No, I do not. And that's the thing, because I'm not a fighter. So maybe it's my personal thing, but I don't encourage it. If someone pushes your child, or I will tell you off. I'll say, look, go and report.
Okay.
Go and report. Because when two people are fighting, something happened yesterday, between my son and his friend. And one person pushed, the other person pushed, somebody got scratched.
Wow.
And it could have been a serious injury. So when I told them, like, you get worse. So the first person, I said, you know what? I don't want to know who started it. Whoever started it, the other person, there are people of authority here. You should have gone to report immediately. Okay. And let that person be punished by the senior, because somebody could get hurt, and you don't want that. There'll be situation where somebody will do something to your child, and your child, because your child is a better fighter, and then you injure somebody, and it could be a life-threatening injury, God forbid. Just because you're like, if they fight, you fight back. I don't believe in it, because the effects might end up being wrong. I would rather the person stands up for themselves. Once the person don't touch me again and goes to report. If it's a matter of push and you push me, but that one is different. But to fight, I mean, I don't believe in fighting. Personally, I just think it could end up having the wrong intent, and you end up both looking mad. I remember seeing some people fighting on the road one day, and they both looked mad. And who started this fight? Nobody will know. They both looked mad. They both removed all their clothes. They both making it was ridiculous. And if one person had walked away, this as in I'm talking about grown women, as in everything off. If one person had walked away and said, "No, I'm not going to engage," I have never been in a physical fight my whole life, except with my siblings as children.
Yeah, true. It's embarrassing. It's just one person not saying, "You know what?
Yeah, I'm gonna walk away from this situation. I'm not gonna engage in this. I'm sorry." But with children, yes, even when you don't look for trouble, some child will just be stupid and say, "Oh yeah, I'll push you." You can still walk away and say, "You know what? Go and report." Unless there's nobody there, go and report. There must be somebody there. He touched me. Why? Why would he touch you?
So there's no.
I don't believe.
Even if it's a situation where you need to fight back to just get yourself out of this situation, so they backed you up for war, and there's nowhere to go.
Maybe that's different.
Okay.
Yeah, there's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to go. I need to stand up for myself, and that standing up for myself involves me saying, "Get out of here," and pushing you back. You know, in those kind of situations.
But do it quickly and get out of the fight.
Not you out and get out. Not to start fighting. Two wrongs don't make a right. That's why. So if you don't have which is why there's something like self-defense. If you don't have a situation, a way out of it, it can't be avoided. The person is really, really and there's no way out, and you have to say, this is the only way. Push the person and be moving. You know.
Okay.
So the main thing that your child should learn how to stand up for themselves. If they can stand up for themselves, if at that point they see it involves having to be physical, but I believe most times it can be avoided.
Okay, so before we leave, let me just ask you, what tips do you have for parents? What steps can they take to prevent their children from becoming victims of both bullying and abuse? And for those who are already victims, what can their parents do to help them, bring back their self-esteem, or, just help them from remaining victims of bullying?
With children who have been bullied or who are bullied, she said, and my son said, it's the parents. The parents need to be able to communicate well with that child. The parents need to be able to affirm that child. They just pass the buck back to me. Mom, it's all about the parents, to be honest. Wow. So you as the parent, you need to affirm your child. You need to build their self-confidence. If you're already being bullied, you might need to talk to somebody who is a specialist, a counselor of some sort, maybe a coach of some sort, to help you affirm that child. You might need to take some time off and say, what is the issue? Are there any issues I can deal with? You need to teach your child social skills. Teach them how to relate with human beings without being aggressive. You need to examine yourself. What kind of environment is your child growing up in? I always say that if you want a child to grow well, a child is like a seed that needs sand and all sorts of nutrients to grow and to thrive well. So the sand of, as you the sand, you the parents, are you nutrition? Are you giving the child enough nutrients? Are you teaching them the skills that they need to treat people well? Are you showing them empathy in your acts, the way you walk, the way you talk, the way you treat other individuals? Are you teaching them social skills? Are you listening to them? Are you watching them? Are you making them a priority so that they don't feel neglected? Because some children who are bullied or
because of neglect,
it's out of they want attention. They want their parents' attention. They do things to get their attention. Maybe if I misbehave in school, she will attend to me. Maybe if I misbehave in school, she will have my time. So this might be cries for help. So it's really about your relationship with your child. You need to make it a priority. Work on their self-esteem, work on their social skills, counseling if possible. Try and build a friendship with them. I know some people say don't be friends with your child, but there's a kind of friendship that is from the leader perspective, where you're still leading them, but they can open up to you and they feel free to tell you what's going on in their lives. Okay, so those are the things they're simple, they're practical. Communication skills with your child, connecting with your child. When you connect with your child, you'll be in a good place to know what is going on with them. They will feel more open to you. They'll be able to tell you, oh, there's something going on. Someone is talking to me somehow. Someone is bullying me. Someone is treating me funny. And then if it's in cases of severe bullying, you might need to take the child out of that place. If it's somewhere, there's an environment or there's a factor that needs to be dealt with, please do it. If you need going to the child's school or the area, go to the school and tell them, find out about their anti-bullying policy. What are you guys putting in place to ensure that my child does not have to go through this ever again? If it's something
Okay.
really bad, you might need to even address the parents and say, look, this is what's going on with my child and your child. You might want to
Okay.
see what's going on. Maybe there's something going on in the home. Get it, bring it to PTA level if possible. So if you
Okay.
think there's really an issue in that particular environment where it needs to be dealt with, it's not just a one-off. Because what you don't want is that after you've dealt with your own child, that bully goes to start bullying other children.
Okay.
So you want to
True.
just say, oh, let me not only deal with my own issue, but make sure it's not just a thing at this school. There's bullying all over the place, okay? And then, like I said, you need to equip your child. Role playing is very, very important with your child. Do a scenario. If someone does this to you, what will you do? If someone does this, what will you do? If someone does
Okay.
this, and give them the right reaction. So if like the other day, I asked my son, if someone pushes you, he said, I'll say, please don't push. I said, no, you're not begging him not to push you. When you say, oh, please don't push me, it's like you're begging him. Say, no, you cannot push me. Don't do that, or I'll report you. You have to be assertive in your voice as you're even telling that person off. So the person will know, okay. Or if someone tells you, oh, look at you, 4 eyes. Yes, I have 4 eyesight. I need glasses. Please buzz off. Something. Just
Exactly.
teach them those
Teach
those
them not to
returns.
be too
Yes,
emotional about things that they can't
yes,
change.
yes.
Someone says
Because
you're
yes,
short
you wear
girl,
glasses.
but you're short. Why are you getting angry?
Exactly. Because and it's funny, the things that they tease. You tease a girl who is too skinny, who is too tall. In the end, she ends up becoming a model, and everyone wants to be around her. But at the
Yeah,
point, it's like,
true.
look at you, see you. So you don't go yap, they will yap. So yes, you're tall, and being tall is a thing of joy. A lot of
Yeah.
people love people who are tall. You should be proud. Oh, you're small. People who are small are very, very, they look good when they age. They never look their age, so you should be proud of your size. Whatever size you are, you can't even change it anyway. So you should be proud of it. See your grandmother was tiny. See how good she looks. Find a way to make them look. This is who you are. This is what you are. This is who you are. Yes, you have this issue. You have that issue. Whatever it is, but deal with it.
Deal
No
with
one
it.
can tell you,
Okay.
I know, yes, bring it on. So yes, so you need to coach your child, talk to them, have these conversations with them. Don't assume that your child is not being bullied. And then also for parents, the parents of the bully. A lot of us forget that our children behave differently in school. So you see
True.
that your child is, you're told that he's a bully, and you're getting all defensive. No, find out what the issue is. Children have two different characters. Children of
I'm
pastors
a,
have
I'm a
three
living
different
example
characters.
of
I
that.
always say you have
I
one
was
behavior in
very
school,
different at home and in school. Two
very
different people.
different. Different behavior in school, different behavior in church, different behavior at home. Everybody has different, and it's for you to know your child. Be true to yourself. Don't just say, "Oh, my child is an angel. She would never do that." Oh, I trust her. Oh, I know it's a lie. No, find out. Find out
Okay.
really. Yes, your child might be very well behaved, but in school, what kind of person is she? Is she a rat pack that likes to just move with some clique and wants to be the popular kid? And even if it means making other children unhappy, she will do it. Try and find out about your child, and try and, like I said, talk to them. Let them know that, look, this is wrong. Let them understand what it means to be empathetic and to be kind. Don't make assumptions. If there's anything you're doing that is making your child feel it's okay to treat somebody the wrong way, examine
Then
yourself
you
as
need
an
to
adult
change it.
and make sure that you amend your ways.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Chioma, for joining us on Gist with SA. On that note, we're going to call it a day. This has been really, really informative and educative, So yeah, I have a little kid, but there are tips that I'm going to take from there, from what you've said, and I'm going to start, practicing with her and all of that, because honestly, I don't want my child to end up being bullied or even to be a bully. I don't want that.
Yes.
So thank you very much. Thank you, viewers, everyone.
Thank you so much, Esther. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for joining us on Gist with SA. Until next
for joining in.
Stay positive, stay happy.
All right,
stay
good night, Esther. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.